everybody. Today I'm going to review Makita's XPH07. Now this is their 18 volt LXT brushless hammer drill driver, and that means that not only is it going to drill through wood and steel, but it's also going to drill through masonry or concrete because it does have that hammer function. Now what's real nice about it is the fact that it has more torque than pretty much any other cordless drill in the market today. And as you can see from this side handle, in order to give you the maximum amount of control and safety, Makita includes that at no extra charge. Now a few other things I want to point out about the drill, because it is part of the 18 volt LXT lineup, the batteries, if you get one of the kits, are going to be compatible with over 100 other 18 volt tools that Makita offers, which is the largest tool lineup out of any manufacturer. Now, the other thing about Makita batteries, which is pretty unique, is the fact that they charge faster than anyone else. Now, what I've done in this video is take two of these 4 amp hour LXT batteries, and what's real nice is their new charger that's coming out, the DC18RD, will actually charge 2 of these at the exact same time, and I was able to get 2 of them to a full charge in less than 40 minutes. Now what I'm going to do in this video is show you some close-up views of this, and then we're going to do some runtime testing as well as drill through a wide variety of different materials. Now to go over the different features of the drill before we move into the testing. The first thing I want to point out is that this dark blue is a very hard plastic, and then the black is a very soft rubber. So as you're grabbing onto the drill, you can see almost the entire grip is made out of that black material, which is the soft rubber, and it gives you a lot to hold on to. The battery is on a slide rail system, so if you just press this button down, it's going to slide right off. You can recharge it, then slide it right back into place, and you're good to go. Now I did install the included belt clip for right-handed use, but if you're left-handed, you can just remove that screw, move the clip to the other side, and then just with a screwdriver, reinstall it on that side. On the top of it is where we'll switch between the 2 different speed modes, speed 1 being 0 to 550 RPMs, speed 2 being 0 to 2,100 RPMs. Now let's say you're drilling through masonry or concrete, then speed 1 was going to be 0 to 8,250 beats per minute, and speed 2 is going to be 31,500 beats per minute. So it gives you a ton of power and a lot of different options because it does have that variable speed trigger. Now on the bottom of the grip, you're going to notice a little light right here. This is the fuel gauge for the battery. So as you can see, I have 2 out of 3 bars, meaning that I have between 20 and 50% power remaining. Now if I only had 1 bar, I would have less than 20% power. And if all 3 bars were lit up, that means that I would have more than 50% power. The chuck on this is a 1/2 inch keyless chuck. And it's nice and tight, and the bits really do spin nice and true. There's not any wobble with them at all. Switching between the 3 different modes, you can see it's on hammer mode right now, which would be for concrete. The middle setting is going to be for drilling mode, which you would use for metal or wood. And then finally, the first mode is going to be for driving screws. Now, when you're on the first mode, that's where this front clutch ring is going to come into play. And that's going to allow you to manipulate the amount of torque that's being put through to the fastener. Okay, now for a runtime test. I have a brand new 1-inch self-feeding wood bit along with a fully charged 4.0 amp hour battery. I have this on speed setting 1, which is going to be a lower RPM but higher torque setting, and we're going to see how many holes through standard 2x material we can get on 1 battery charge. Okay, so far I have drilled 75 holes and our power levels are still on 2 out of 3. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this board around now and continue. it died on the 148th hole, but it was able to drill 147 holes through 2x material on one 4.0 amp hour battery charge. Our next runtime test is going to be using another fully charged 4.0 amp hour battery, and I'll be using a 2 9/16 self-feeding wood bit to cut through 2x material. Okay, it made it through 57 complete holes, and on the 58th hole, the battery finally died. Now what I have installed in the vise is some square tubing with 1/4 inch thick steel sidewalls. So what we're going to do is actually test the metal drilling capabilities of the Makita, and it is rated up to a 1/2 inch steel drill bit. So that's exactly what I have right here, is a 1/2 inch steel. We're going to go ahead and pop a hole through this 1/4 inch sidewall. But the first thing we're going to want to do is mark the location and then drill a pilot hole. So I have a 3/16 inch drill bit we're going to drill first, and then using that same hole we're going to bump it up to the 1/2 inch drill bit and see if it can make it through. Okay, now that we have our pilot hole drilled, I'm going to go ahead and swap the drill bit out now, and we'll go ahead and see if it will do that 1/2 inch hole. So we'll remove the 3/16 one, we'll back the chuck open, put the 1/2 inch drill bit in there, tighten everything up, put some more cutting fluid on here so we don't mess our bit up, and then we'll see how long it takes to go through this 1/4 inch steel sidewall. I'm going to go ahead and add some more cutting fluid because I don't want to burn my bit up. And it popped it right through there, and if you notice, I only have 1 bar of power. So the battery's actually almost dead, but it did go right through the 1/4 inch thick steel with no problem with that 1/2 inch metal drilling drill bit. Here's a 1/4 inch hole into hollow block. And here's a 3/8 inch hole into hollow block. Now let's say you need to put some large anchors into a concrete pad such as this patio, or maybe even the floor in your basement or garage. You can go up to 5/8 inch on a masonry bit and drill a hole right through this with the Makita. Now to give you a little bit of a speed comparison, I have that same 5/8 drill bit, I'm going to go ahead and pop a hole through this solid block, but this is not nearly as dense as the patio would be. So this is just like a cinder block, and it's not going to be nearly as hard to drill through, and it won't take nearly as long to drill through as the patio. So here we go on the same exact speed with that 5/8 inch drill bit. Now, many times when you're drilling into wood or any other material, you want to set a correct depth. So you don't want to under drill something or over drill it. What Makita has included with this drill is a depth rod that's fully removable, but it's also fully adjustable. They have a thumb wheel right here. You'll just loosen that up. The depth rod will slide in or out, and you can set the correct depth that you want to go to. Once you have your correct depth set, you can go ahead and tighten that back up. Now when you drill into the wood, the bit is only going to go in to this point, which is where the end of the depth rod is. That's going to hit the wood, and it's going to stop the drill from going in any further. Now to show you how easy this works, we'll go ahead and line this up with the 6x6, and I'll go ahead and drill a hole. And you can see once the depth rod hit the 6x6, it automatically stopped the drill from going in any further, and we know how deep that hole is going to be. Now when I first saw this drill, they actually had a test setup where there was a big beam as well as an auger bit. And what really shocked me is even after I did it on speed setting 1, they said go ahead and bump it up to speed setting 2 and then see what you think of that. I thought that the drill was going to stall out and hang up, but it actually went through the beam with no problem. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is take this 1 inch by 18 inch long auger bit and poke a hole through the 6x6 pressure treated post on speed setting 1, which is going to be a lower RPM but higher torque setting. Then I'm going to do that same test on speed setting 2, which is going to be a higher RPM, and we'll see how it does going through the same post. So this is speed setting number 1. We'll go ahead and poke a hole through here. Okay, you saw that was no problem at all. I'm going to pop this on speed setting 2, and we're going to try that same test. So that was quite a difference, but this drill has so much power it can put a 1 inch auger bit through a post on speed setting 2 and it will not stall out, and it didn't have any issues at all. So the Makita, especially because it does have that large handle to help you with the torque, it's not going to jerk out of your hand. You're going to be able to make those large, very deep holes with no problems. So now you've seen Makita's XPH07 for yourself. This thing has a ton of power, it's very comfortable to use, and even though that handle may look oversized, I can tell you when I was drilling through those large holes, if it wasn't that long, I would have had a hard time controlling it. So they did put a lot of thought into this, and they did make it long enough where it's not going to jerk or twist your wrist when you're using it. Now I will say, because it does have that hammering function, because this is the hammer drill, we were able to drill through that concrete block just as fast as we were drilling through the wood. And if you're going to have the regular drill driver version of this, you're not going to have that masonry option. So you might want to keep that in mind if you're looking at this. Even if you don't think you're going to use it often, when you need it, it's going to work great. Now that handle is fully removable. We can just untwist it. It's going to come right off. So if you're dealing with something with clearance issues, or maybe you're working inside a vehicle, now it's the size of a regular drill. But if you're going to work with large holes or even drilling through the concrete, you really want to put the side handle on, because it's going to give you a lot more control and it's going to eliminate that risk of it jerking out of your hand and twisting your wrist. Now a few other features that I want to point out. Right above the trigger are 2 different LEDs. They're going to come on whenever you pull the trigger, and then when you let your hand off the trigger, they're still going to stay on, so you can have light and get your work done. Now what I typically use these for is a flashlight. So if I'm in somewhere that's a little dimly lit, I can still press it on the trigger, light up what I'm working on, and see the other tools laying around. And it really frees up your hand, and you're not having to hold a flashlight in your mouth. Now lastly, this does come with a 3-year warranty through Makita, so if you ever do have a problem with it, they are going to fix that for you. If you like this video, please click like. If you like my channel, please click subscribe. And thanks for watching.